Hey guys, I'm back at it again. I know I kind of disappeared for a little bit. Honestly, that last video was like a vibe killer for me. So I decided to lay low from YouTube for a little bit, but I needed to get my life together. So I'm back with this video. I kept asking you guys what you guys wanted to see, and a lot of people were interested in my love life, which is not a big shocker. I feel like honestly, like that's the one thing people always want to know about other people, like what's going on in their love life. But before we begin with the video, I want to thank you guys for honestly all the fucking support that you guys have shown me in regards to everything. I think that I'm finally in a place where I don't feel like I'm being antagonized for anything, or you know, and you gotta acknowledge those moments too. I think us as human beings, we always acknowledge the negative, but we always seem to forget to acknowledge the positive. So I want to thank you guys for just being there, being supportive. I really appreciate you guys, and I love you guys, and this is why I'm doing this video. This is something that I never thought I would talk about. I'm such a private person in general, but lately I'm just kind of with a no fucks kind of attitude towards everything. So I felt as though, because you guys wanted to see what was going on with my dating life, that I would talk about my dating experiences here in LA and why my dating life at this point is really non-existent, to be honest, because it's just be on some bullshit. Like, people out here be on some bullshit, but I'm not trying to attack LA. I feel like I don't want nobody from LA getting offended. I want to make a clear distinction before I continue. So in LA, there's two types of people. There's transplants and there are native LA people. Transplants are people who come here from other parts of LA, and native people are obviously from here. It's very rare to meet a native LA person, especially when you're always in Hollywood, West Hollywood, etc. Kind of like West LA area. 9 times out of 10, native LA people are awesome. So when I refer to LA people, 9 times out of 10, I just refer to all the transplants who come from Wisconsin and Nebraska and think they're from LA all of a sudden. We just gonna get right to it. My dating life in LA began the day I got here. Honestly, when I came to LA, when I arrived to LA, I arrived with a hoe mentality. I mean, I was just a hoe in training for a couple years in New York after my last relationship, and I just really gave no fucks. I'm someone who's very open with sexuality, etc. I don't believe in slut shaming. I think that shit is whack. I think everybody likes to suck dick or lick pussy or just do those things. Like, I'm just sick of people acting like they don't do that behind closed doors. Like, girl, like, if this person wants to suck 8 dicks, let them suck 8 dicks. It's okay. It's okay. Like, that's their life. You know what I mean? As long as they're not hurting anyone, or, you know, they're not trying to physically affect you or your money, shouldn't care. Who gives a fuck? So I came here with a hoe mentality, and there's nothing wrong with that. And bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. Literally the first 3 days of me living in LA, I was just zipping it and zooming it. Like, I had a lineup already. And honestly, if you guys are watching, if any of those boys are watching, I'm sorry. I'm not shit at times, and those were one of those times. You know what I mean? Like, I just wasn't shit. So my first couple of days and months here really started on some whole shit. Like, I was very like just exploring, just being the 20-year-old / 21-year-old that, you know, people are. Like, you're just exploring, you're dating, you're trying to figure out what you want in life, you know what I mean? Like, or who you want, what kind of person you like. It's a different city. I mean, imagine moving here at 20, moving 3,000 miles away from home, and you're here. Like, who wouldn't want that, you know? Who wouldn't want to explore? Who wouldn't want to have a little fun? Who wouldn't want to go out drinking, etc., etc.? Fast forward to the first person that I actually took serious in terms of dating, the makeup artist. This person I met on Instagram. I noticed that he followed me on Instagram, and then, you know, when you do that thing where you creep and you like click the person's Instagram just to see what they're about, what they look like. So I thought he was cute, and I followed him back. And then I think we started DMing, etc. And then we talked literally for like 2-3 days and we went on a date. And on that date, as soon as I met him, I just was like, oh my God, like I'm so into this guy. I really like him. He's so sweet. I remember we went to, on our first date, we went to, where the fuck did we go, man? So in case the lighting changed or whatever, my SD card got full, so I had to delete it. But anyways, we went to Barney's, real fancy in Beverly Hills. We went to the rooftop restaurant called Fred's. And I remember like we just hung out, we went for boba tea after, and you know, things were going really good. Like for the next couple of weeks we were seeing each other, everything was going good. Like we were hanging out. I felt like this was like, oh my God, this is the boy. Like this is the boy that I meet in LA, and you know, he's gonna be my boyfriend, etc, etc. There were like no signs of anything being weird from my perspective. But then I remember he went to this trip with his friends, which I don't think it was his friends. I think, in all honesty, he said it was his friends, but I'm sure there was a boy that he was also seeing that was involved in that trip. I might be wrong, but usually when I have a gut feeling, I'm usually right. So he goes to this place called Joshua Tree, which is like this place here in California, and it's like 2 hours, 3 hours away from LA. And he's like, you know, I'm not really gonna have that much signal out there, which is true because I've been to Joshua Tree. And you know, just in case I'm not really, you know, in contact with you, like I'll make sure to contact once I get back to LA, once I'm on my way back to LA, etc, etc. So I was like, that's fine. You know, I'm not really like a crazy person. Like if you're dating me, I'm pretty rational. Like I'm pretty like whatever. Even if he was like, hey, I just want to spend time with my friends, I need time to reflect, I need to get out of it, I would have understood. You feel me? Like it's really not, you know, a science with me when you're dating me, like the fuck, but whatever. So in those 3 days that he was not reaching out, and while he was in Joshua Tree, I was kind of like, ooh, like I miss this boy, etc. Like I really miss him. Like we were just going out all the time. We were spending so much time together. And he comes back. He actually texts me the day he was supposed to come back. He texts me and he's like, hey, I'm on my way. And I'm like, okay, cool. How was your trip? And we're talking about the trip, and then out of nowhere he texts me, hey, I've been thinking, like I don't think that I really want this, you know, I really don't. Long story short, he wasn't feeling it. He wanted to focus on friendships, pure bullshit, the bullshit that people want to do when they want to be nice. It caught me completely off guard, like completely fucking off guard, because everything was going good. Like he fucking did that shit and I'm like, oh my God, like, but why you gotta do that to me? Like what the fuck? But he did it. So I'm like, please FaceTime me, like the little crazy bitch that I am. And eventually he FaceTimes me like 2 hours later and we're talking, and I'm like, oh, you know, we could be cool. It's like, we're good. And he's like, no, yeah, cool. And then we really didn't talk after. Like he kind of left it at that, and that's it. And you know, that honestly hurt me, like, cause I really liked him and I was genuinely hurt. I'm not gonna lie. I was genuinely really liked him, and I really thought that it was gonna develop into something bigger and better, but that wasn't the case. So then we saw, because he's a makeup artist, we are in the same industry to a certain extent. Eventually I see him at an event about like 2 months later, and we talked and we actually had a really nice time, very nice time. And then I hadn't seen him anymore until a next event. I noticed he was being kind of weird, and I was already not really feeling him like that. This other influencer tells me, I actually talked about this on my Instagram story the other day. This other influencer tells me, oh, that's weird. The boy that just spoke to you, that's weird that he's not with this other person, with this other influencer. And I was like, why would he be with that other influencer? And he was like, oh, that's his boyfriend. And I was just like, because the other influencer was my friend at the time that we was going through, you know, not a breakup, but when we parted ways, and he saw how sad I was. He was seeing me crying and stuff like that. Like, I genuinely like this kid. And then here you go, little shady ass little bitches, you know, you gotta, and then it's those people that don't be like, you know, they're nice and always, you know, pleasant and shit. It's be those people that be doing the shadiest shit. But you know, actually, let me go back. The reason why I was confused also as to why he was dating this influencer was because when we saw each other at the last event and we talked about everything, he told me that he just couldn't see it with me because I was a little bit more feminine and he just wasn't into that. Like he was kind of in regards to like maybe he was like a more of like a bottom or whatever, and I was kind of like, girl, whatever, you could have explained that to me. But it was obviously a lie because here he is with another boy in makeup. Communicate. I don't understand why people out here don't communicate. Like, what are you so scared of? Like, if you would have just told me, hey, listen, I'm not really feeling it like that with you. I think you're a nice boy, you're cute and all, but I'm not feeling it romantically with you, I would have completely fucking understood. And you know, there's a little bit about that little story. So now we're gonna move on. This is probably the most interesting one out of, actually no, I think the third one is the most interesting, but I'm gonna move on to the person that I wasn't necessarily dating, but I was seeing him often. So I guess it was this older Armenian guy. He was from Glendale, duh, don't drag me. But I will always meet him at the SLS Hotel in Beverly Hills, which is kind of fucking weird in hindsight thinking about it. Like, I don't know if he was married maybe to someone but we would just always meet there. And his excuse was always that he lived with his parents. So that's why he wouldn't take me to his house. And it wasn't exactly like a sugar baby experience for me because even though the SLS Hotel is actually very expensive and it's like in a nice part of Beverly Hills, I didn't get anything from it. I'm just not that person, you know what I mean? But I think that's what he wanted. I think he wanted a sugar baby. He kind of wanted like a little trophy boy. But yeah, getting to know him more and more, he became very open with me in regards to, you know, him seeing other boys, which was fine. He wasn't my boyfriend. We weren't together, so that's completely fine with me. But I think he wanted me to be a part of like this group of boys that he was dating. Because I remember one time I had met up with him and he was like, we're gonna go to dinner with this other boy, and I find out that the other boy was pretty much like one of his sugar babies. So we're all out at dinner and I'm just kind of like looking around like, yeah, this is just not my lifestyle. I remember paying for my own food and I was like, hey guys, have a great night. I walked out. I actually did see him again one more time, and then after that I just kind of realized I needed to stay away from him because in all honesty, and this is where like, no, all jokes aside, like it really gets serious, he just, hanging out with him would show me like there's like sad LA people. Like there's like there's like this specific type of person that's abundant in LA where they always just kind of do drugs, they're always partying, and they're usually older, so you're kind of confused as to why they're doing this. And it was kind of like, and he was, you know, he would do drugs even in front of me, which I wasn't used to that, to be honest. But honestly, in LA, like you really just see so many people snorting lines of coke, like like everywhere. It's actually kind of weird, like coming from where I come from, even New York. Like in New York people do it, but like in LA it's just so open. And it just made me really uncomfortable. So I realized I didn't really want to go down that path. And I think what you guys need to realize is when you hang out around certain people, their energies can just attach to you. So I knew that wasn't for me, but it was fun while it lasted. And he was probably he was like the second guy that I saw often. And I don't know why I really was trying to see if I could see something with him. I'm so glad it didn't fucking work out because that would have probably been toxic as fuck. The third guy was actually the shortest amount of time. It was this foreign Italian guy. He was Italian, literally from Italy, because there's like Italian Americans. When you think of them, you think of like Jersey Shore, etc. And then there's like Italians, like with the accents and stuff like that. So he was the one that I saw for the shortest amount of time, but I felt like he's the reason that I am the way that I am when I look at dating in LA, because it was kind of like the third strike and I was done. Because even though I would see people here and there in between all these people, these were the main people. I'm at this skincare event and you know, I didn't know anyone. It was kind of like completely out of my comfort zone. It was a completely different scene. It wasn't like the normal beauty scene that I'm normally accustomed to. You know, there was just hot ass, fine ass men, like cute, like just sexy. Like they were sexy as fuck, but not all of them were gay. Like like it was just kind of like 50-50. So, and it was like a men's skincare event, just to point that out there. Kind of like not really like vibing with anyone. These two guys came up to me, but I wasn't really into them. And then I sit in this table. This guy is sitting there. He's talking and he's just so charismatic and so cute. Like, not really that cute, but like it was just like his personality was cute. So we're just talking and we're talking about our experiences in LA with these two girls. And then we're talking, etc., etc. I actually didn't think he was gay when I first met him. I thought he was just a straight man and I thought he was just really friendly. And we're talking and then he's like, yeah, oh my God, we relate so well. Like, you know, like, let me get your number. Maybe we can hang out. So I'm like, yeah, cute. Like, cause again, I thought he was like so fucking cute. Like, it was just like, ooh, you're cute. Like, you're just so charismatic and so friendly. Like, I'm someone that's I'm not really a looks person, to be honest. I'm someone who's more about that connection, that personal connection. Like, I don't really have a type. So we exchange numbers, and then after, I do this thing where if you got my number, I kind of leave. I don't really stay around because I want to see how I'm a fucking lame-o. I want to see how enthusiastic you are about reaching out to me. So I noticed when I was leaving, he was leaving. So we honestly ended up together when I was waiting for my Uber. He's like, yeah, please stay in touch, etc., etc. But I was like, no. I'm gonna wait for you to text me. I didn't say this to him, but I was just like, I'm gonna wait. So as soon as I get in my car, he texts me and he's like, hey, I might be free tonight. Let's hang out. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. So we actually hung out. We went to dinner and then we went back to his place. And it was just, you know, you guys might be hearing like, oh, you went back to his place. We did do a couple things, I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't about that. Like, it didn't go to the full extent because I had actually stopped because I thought this guy was so cute and I didn't want to make it about that, you know what I mean? It was like those first couple days, he just had all the time in the world for me, you know what I mean? And then out of fucking nowhere, he just becomes the busiest person. He's so busy at life, and I'm just kind of like, So I remember I brought him here and he met Cameron, and Cameron wasn't too sure about him. And Cameron is always someone who, if he isn't too sure about you, 9 times out of 10, he's right, which I fucking hate. So I brought him here, we was hanging out, and I was just kind of like, I was wanting it to work again, kind of like the first guy with the makeup artist. I was wanting it to work and I was really feeling him, but it was just little warning signs that I was ignoring like a dumbass, to be honest. So then I do the thing where like you stop texting the person to see if they text you. Days would start going by and I'm like, oh my God, like here we go again. I was like, here we fucking go again. And then he would text me sporadically and then he would just disappear again. And then eventually I kind of just had it with him and I was like, hey, what's the deal? I was like FaceTiming. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning and I like had taken a walk because I was that in my feelings that I was walking around the streets of LA at 1 in the morning. I was like, what's the deal? And he actually responded and he's like, FaceTime me, like what's going on? And I'm like, hey, like I really like you, like what's going on? Like you had all the time in the world and you know, now you don't. And for me, that's something that I really had to work on, is becoming open and just being open with communication. And I think that's the thing that frustrates me the most with all these fucking men, is that I'm so open to communication. You can communicate with me. I'm not gonna have a fucking heart attack, you know what I mean? Or like drop dead if you don't like me. He's like, oh no, I really like you. I've just been really busy, etc., etc. There's just so much going on. He actually was having like a visa issues, a long story. But remember this detail. So I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, I understand, but like, you know, like I'm here to, even if it's not romantic, like I'm here to be your friend. You know, if you need anything, I'm here. I know how lonely this city can be and I'm just here to be a friend to you, etc., etc. He's like, no, I really appreciate it. Oh my God, thank you so much. No one's like that out here, etc., etc. Whatever. After this phone, we don't see each other. So then we see each other at another event of the brand that we initially met at. So I'm like, because I'm feeling salty. And I'm just like, whatever. And he's just like, literally like, hi. And I'm like, hey. And I keep walking. And then I could just see him just looking at me the whole time that we're there. Like, I'm just like, girl, like, And then he finally comes back up to me. He's talking to me. And then I noticed the PR guy that was working for this company, he was being a little shady to me. It was a little weird. Didn't say hello to me. As an influencer, if you're a PR person, wouldn't you say hello? Like, isn't that your job to make them feel comfortable? But whatever. As soon as the Italian guy comes up to me, the PR guy's like, oh, hey, having fun? What's going on? And I noticed it was like a weird little chemistry with them. You know what I mean? Like, my gut never fails me. I'm always right, and sometimes I hate it. But whatever, we talking, and I'm like, so what's been going on? So I start kind of like telling him like, yo, like, you really like trying me. Like, don't try to act like we're good right now. Like, you are the worst communicator. You like to boo-hoo all the time. And I think a lot of people out here, they're just boo-hoo kind of people. It's like, oh my God, I'm so this, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. We all going through shit. Like, I'm over it. I'm just kind of hearing the same shit. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. Like, so then while we're talking, and he's telling me about like his little issues with the visa. Is all you're looking for, like, is it someone that like can give you a visa who can marry you or some shit? And he's like, yeah. And I was just like, and I figured out his whole game. Like, he was doing that whole little smooth foreigner shit, like, oh, ooh la la, with the accent, etc. But it was just like, I saw what he was doing. And then I saw his little friendly connection with the PR guy who's dumb rude to me. I just wasn't feeling it. And then after that, I unfollowed him, and we haven't spoken since. I was just kind of like, it's just giving me a bad taste of, you know, the dating scene in LA. I mean, dating isn't easy anywhere, because dating for me in New York was not easy. But here it's special kind of people. There's a special kind of person that is the transplant of LA. And I think it's very rare for people not to fall into the foolishness. And I think that's where the state of my dating life is, and why it is the way that it is. I realize I'm not here to really date. I'm here to work. There's special kind of people out here, you know what I mean? That's pretty much my experiences of dating in LA. I know this is kind of a longer video that I initially intended to do, but I kind of just wanted to go through all my experiences and really show you guys why I'm not really much of a dater, especially here in LA. Maybe my soulmate is somewhere out in these streets. Do I think that's the case? I do not think that's the case, but I'm open to it. I'm also somebody who's not completely closed off to the idea of love here or love in general. But I'm just here trying to work, and you know, I'm trying to have the best relationship with myself and trying to grow as an adult, because there's a lot of foolishness going on out here and a lot of bullshit. And I think that's important for you guys to realize too, is that the most important relationship that you have to have is with your damn self. You know what I mean? If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, tell me some of your crazy dating or relationship stories, etc., etc. Tell me what you guys want to see next. I feel like you guys are trying to turn me into a little story time YouTuber, because every time I ask you guys what you guys want to see, it's always like a story or something. I ain't trying to be a story time YouTuber, but I do enjoy telling you guys about my life, so I'm not even gonna lie. Click that notification bell, do what y'all gotta do, and I will see you guys very soon. I love you. Mwah. Bye.